That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks, to a Notre Dame's mission the rest of the year after this bye is crystal clear. And I might add, very doable addition to the Always Irish Show. As always, you can find a program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps old Johnny Boy out as well. Notifications on that way you will alert it every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it to call-in lines. 312-988-15. You call and tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Instagram, Facebook, Always Irish Inc. USA Today, Fighting Irish, where I read all about it. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Me and Mike Goolsby every week, year round. A lot of content. Thanks to everybody that's joined. We have some really interesting, good stuff you're not going to get anywhere else coming up your way. All right, let's get into this. I genuinely hope everybody that likes Notre Dame is enjoying the hell out of the bye. I cannot remember a more needed bye by a fan base, a team, and a coaching staff than how belated this one is, coming after week 8 and after the last month Notre Dame has been through. 4 big games, 4 weeks in a row, 4 big night games, big moments, that just an absolute gauntlet. Everybody needed this bye. Usually the fans are like, oh, I get that the players need a bye, but I want Notre Dame this week. No. I need to bye for my sanity. No. Everybody needed this bye. So now that we're getting ready to crank things back up for Pitt week, let's talk a little bit about this dynamic, where this team is at and where they need to go and where the hell they need to end up. I fully realize and acknowledge you had a rough last month. I get that. The schedule makers didn't do you any favors. And then you had some bad luck in there. And you got caught up twice and lost 2 different games in 2 totally frustrating ways, but 2 totally different ways. The way you lost the Ohio State game is a whole different discussion than the way you lost the Louisville game. They're both losses on the ledger, but the reaction they made you have and what it made you feel couldn't have been different between how those 2 losses went down and how we arrived at those losses. So I get it. It was a rough last month, and there's nothing you could have done. Listen, you already knew what Ohio State and USC are, and you knew that Duke and Louisville were going to be tricky. Them both being undefeated and them having all the belief in the world and this being their Super Bowl both times, flexed into night games, all that, you couldn't prepare for that. So it is what it is. There's not a damn thing any of us could do to undo those 2 dumb losses. The answer now is you need to go 10-2, and that's the only way this can go. All right? You need to go damn 10-2. You cannot undo either one of those painful losses. All you could do now is go out and win something else. Go 10-2 and win a New Year's 6 game. It isn't the playoff, but at least if you did that, you would feel like there's some progress, because it isn't going to be the playoff, and I understand that's the goal, obviously. I understand that. It ain't going to happen, though. So I get it when people go playoff or bust, playoff or bust. Well, we busted, but you're going to play in a bowl game. So you can't act like another game isn't going to exist because you want to be a tough guy and go, playoff or doesn't matter. That's out. Now the best you could do is go 10-2 in the regular season, win a New Year's 6, so you can at least cross that off the list of things we haven't done to get made fun of for 38 years or whatever it is. That's the adjusted mission nobody likes, because we're not supposed to have 2 losses the first weekend of October. So all the circumstances, all the reasons why, whatever, I get it all. The best you could do, 10-2, win that New Year's 6, cross that off the list. That's the readjusted mission nobody likes, but that's it. That's the best case scenario. In my mind, I wanted this to be an 11-1 playoff team, whatever. I picked 10-2 in the paper when we had to do our preseason, whatever, USA Today. I had 10-2 with flexibility, 1 up or 1 down, depending on circumstances in the season. What happened? You got circumstances, but not in Notre Dame's favor with the way that last month worked. And you end up catching 2 losses. So when I say 10-2 with circumstantial movement up or down one of those it doesn't have to be for us. One of the circumstances could be Louisville thought they were winning the Super Bowl this year and snuck up on you at home. So I had 10-2 in my mind. That's not what I'm going to be happy with. You know what else, too? People need to separate. When John says, I think 10-2, that's what my brain's telling me, not what I want it to be or what my heart wants. It's logically me putting it into paper, having to defend where I'm at, what kind of pulse I have over all this. Don't confuse me saying I picked 10-2 to mean I want us to go 10-2 or I'm happy with 10-2. The mission there was what you think it's going to be, not what Johnny Boy wants it to be. So that's what this has to end as. 10-2 with the big bowl win to knock that off our negative ledger. So here's the next part of this. Notre Dame's through the toughest stretch of the schedule. This part should be much more manageable, navigatable. Break it down into 2 very distinct segments. Coming out of the bye against Pitt, which needs to be a rejuvenated Notre Dame team, a re-energized Notre Dame team, a healthier Notre Dame team, especially on offense, and one that has a renewed, retooled plan to get the most out of this offense the remaining bunch of games. So coming out of Pitt, that's what I need to see. Then you go into Clemson. It's very important to me this offense gets back up on an upswing against Pitt, trending that way into Clemson. That's what I want. So Clemson's going to be a tough game. I know people are counting them out. They're down on Dabo. They're not what they were in that playoff run with Lawrence and all those great athletes at wide receiver and that great D-line and all that. They're not that. I'm just telling you guys, anybody not expecting a physical backyard fight against Clemson at their place, I'm sure it's going to be flexed tonight. With Dabo having that revenge factor we had last year when they came to our place and we had a few losses, everybody was counting us out. They're going to have that type of vibe trying to defend their place in Death Valley. So trend up against Pitt, start feeling better about that offense against Pitt, still get the good defense that you've been getting. And then that Clemson one's going to be a battle. And it is the third of the big 3 that we talked about all year. I can't believe we're already to the point where we're talking about this. And you lost one of them, you won one of them. You get this one, then you flip it, and you're 2-1 in the big 3. And that is big game progress. So this next 2-week window, that's what you're looking at. And I need you trending up offensively coming out of Pitt. And then I need you to prepare yourself for a physical battle against Clemson and win that football game. Flip that big game ledger. Then you get another bye because of how poorly this schedule was put together. Then you get another bye. So that gives you another chance after Clemson. It's going to be a physical night game against real talent, all that. Then you get a chance to be rejuvenated. I cannot have anything dumb happen with Wake, with like the Sam Hartman, we're in your ad, you were our guy. Like nothing stupid could happen against Wake at home because there's a weird Hartman vibe, and that's like weird. It can't be that. You need to beat the crap out of Wake. And then here's the other thing. I don't care how many second half touchdowns Stanford scored against Colorado and all that. Notre Dame should fly through these final 2 games, damn it. And I'm not in the mood for them to beat Pitt, lose to Clemson. We're hanging on 3 losses and we're in that final stretch, bro. I'm not looking for that. That's not the mission. I'm not looking for that. 10-2 is your last way to keep like bigger picture credibility here with these big games, flipping it 2-1 instead of 1-2 like last year against these big 3. It's got to be 10-2. So this is doable. It's a much more manageable stretch than we were just in entering the bye through that tough month. Like this breaks out good for you to have these little mini missions and it pieces together to be 10-2. But that's what I'm looking at. And that's the only way I think Notre Dame fans feel really good exiting this year overall is 10-2 with the New Year's 6 win. That would give you the 2-1 over the big 3 and then get the big bowl game monkey off your back. If you're not going to the playoff, that's a hell of a secondary like mission to accomplish. We all acknowledge the playoffs, the goal. If that's not in the cards and it's not going to be, that's the next thing you could do. 10-2, flip the big 3, get that New Year's bowl win so everybody could shut the hell up on the internet about it. So that's the way I'm looking at this when I'm teeing up what this is going to look like out of the bye. That's what I'm looking at. And it's the only acceptable outcome. Unfortunately, this Louisville thing, regardless of outlook, nobody's going to kill you for an Ohio State loss. That Louisville win hurts. You got to find another one then on the plus side. And that means beating USC and Clemson. So Notre Dame is kind of in a tight spot. Everybody would feel better against Pitt if you saw that offense rise a little bit, put up more robust numbers. That would give people in a better place in their mind to go to Clemson. So that's where this is all at. This is the result it needs to be. It's the only acceptable one out of where we're coming out of. And I need to see it. 10-2, New Year's 6 win. That's the mission the rest of this way.